Hey.
Mark.
Look at this. You want to film this?
Oh,
Birthday, but
look at the birthday boy bringing some
Christmas
cake.
cake's on a sledge. Recording.
Mark's
Recording.
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 I can't even see that. He's whipped himself.
I'm just crying myself. That's not on me, is it? That one's on me. Is that one on me? No, I always use the right. Hello. You may think we are in a luxury cabin beside a lake, but nope. We are in the garden of Carl's mum's house, and we're going to be doing a reflection on 2023. And we've got some questions from team members to ask. Mark Foster, who's sat beside me, welcome.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And what a lovely cabin Cole's mum's got.
It's very nice.
It's very nice, isn't it?
A lot of alcohol.
There's a lot of alcohol.
So we're going to be doing a reflection, and we've got some questions from team members, and we're going to be talking about some future projects as well.
Yes.
So we'll start from the beginning with Spotlight, and we'll talk about Hunt's Corner.
Yeah, Hunt's Corner. That was the very, very first one of Series 3. It was Series 3, yeah. It was January time, and I remember it really, really well because we booked it up and everywhere was flooding. There were storms all over the place. There was torrential rain, highest rainfalls since records began. And I had a phone call from Linear or an email saying that they might have to cancel the booking because I don't know if you know, but on the Linear complex, Oxley and Hunt's Corner, the river goes round the back, and when that floods everything. So everyone's got cancelled. We decided they said we could try, and we went there. So, you know, with Spotlight, we just fit in. Mm-hmm. And this was the only and one opportunity that we've went to a lake that we've booked where we had the lake to ourselves. And that's how it ended up. But it was a good session. We had some nice fish, and it was cut short, unfortunately, that one, because the river started to go. It was getting higher and higher, and the bailiffs literally 7 o'clock in the morning come round, a little bit panicky, and said, "You need to move, and you need to move quite quickly, because when this goes, it goes," and it was on the brink of going. To the fact it was coming out of the boating lake, going across the path into Oxley. So yeah, we had some really nice fish on there. It's one of them lakes at Linear that's underrated, really. It doesn't really get doesn't get pushed like the other lakes, but there's some cracking fish in there. They don't go the biggest, but there's some really nice fish in there.
Nice, beautiful fish. The ones you caught were?
They were really nice.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Joff. What is Mark's motivation in fishing?
I don't know, I just got to get out all the time. My motivation is it's a hunting instinct that I've got. I like the thrill of going and trying to find fish around the lake. That is something that really, really appeals to me. I know a lot of anglers are quite content with just sitting behind rods and playing the waiting game. I don't mind doing that on certain lakes and certain situations, but for me, it's going to try and find the fish and work out how to get them to pick my rig up, because sometimes you can be on fish and it's just not happening, and then my brain starts going, right, okay, now what do I need to do to try and trigger that feeding trigger for them to have a curiosity bite or something. And that's what gets me going. That's my drive. It's trying to catch them out. It's trying to catch the fish out and get that adrenaline pumping that I like.
Yeah, I need to take a page out of your book, because once I set up, I'm just too lazy and I can't be asked to move.
You've got to move around. You are missing opportunities by doing that, I guarantee.
It takes too much time.
But there's nothing stopping you from baiting and then going off and then coming back at a later date. But yeah, definitely try it.
Right, should we talk about the next one?
Yes.
So, Acorn.
Yes,
yeah.
Acorn.
And we'll watch the trailer?
Yeah. It's March, and in my opinion, March is the worst time of the year to fish. I've now actually using 3 different tactics just to see if I can pick up fish in different ways. It's fighting under the rod tip. It always happens when you've got a lake like this and it drops off quite quickly. But
March fishing, do you like March fishing, Mark?
No, I do not like March, and this always happens to me in March. When I've woken up this morning, the lake has got very busy, and all of the empty, vacant swims around have now become occupied. I'm going to go and try and see if I can catch one of these fish in this lake that I'm really struggling to catch a carp out of. So this is the last chance. Jamie, grab the camera.
Nice. There's actually another clip that I want to show you.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
What now?
Before we start, I really like this.
Okay.
This photo that Jamie took on the drone.
We're here because we've got 3 acres of water, so it's quite a small size lake, but we've got 400 fish in here. So they're not going to be too far away no matter where we put the rigs here. And yeah, choosing your location this time of year, you need to up your odds, and this is exactly why we are here today.
400 fish.
I know where this is going.
How many did you catch?
2?
How many were carp?
1?
Didn't go to plan then.
No, it didn't go to plan. And I know it's going to come. I hate March, and I hate March with a passion. And I'm going to tell you why I hate March.
Tell us why you hate March.
So March for me, it's always one of them dodgy months where the carp through the winter period, obviously they're cold-blooded, so they react with the temperature of the water. If the water's 10 degrees, the carp are 10 degrees. If it's 9 degrees, they're 9 degrees. But everything slows down, their metabolism, their eyesight, the smell, everything. So to up your odds, you need to be on a lake that's got a lot of fish. That particular venue was Mark Bartlett's place. It's constantly fish throughout the year, but it's at them depths that if you do get a little bit of sun, it warms up quite quickly, and then that can get the fish moving around. But the problem is with March is we're coming out of that cold period, and it's not quite to the period where they're feeding constantly. But what does wake up is the anglers. And when I say that, it's the amount of angling pressure changes, where all the people put their rods away for the winter, it's starting to get warm, they come out, and what they do is they just throw loads of bait in, and it's far too early, and it just kills the lake off. So selecting the right venue is actually all right. So if you go to a venue that doesn't have the angling pressure, you can put a little bit of bait out, a mouthful, something bright, and you can do really well. But yeah, it didn't work out with that one. And that's one of the reasons why I don't like March, is because other anglers can kill the lake off.
So one carp. One
carp.
And the other?
The other was a catfish, which we never even knew was in there. And when my rod went on in the middle of the night, I could remember playing it and thinking, oh my God, this must be a lake record, because it was just fighting so hard. And then when it did breach the surface, yeah, my face must have been a picture, because I didn't even know they was in there, and I wasn't happy about that one, but
I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, I don't like catfish. I've done catfishing, don't get me wrong. Pound for pound, they're probably one of the best freshwater fish to go for, apart from sturgeon. But yeah, I've done a bit of catfishing, liked it at the time. Now, yeah, just after the carp, I can't tell the difference between a catfish from one to the other. At least with a carp you can.
So how much do you really hate March?
No, I really hate March, to the fact that I would probably do more in February, skip March totally, and just go in April.
Let's just double check if you do hate March. We've got some clips here.
I knew you was going to do this. It's March, and in my opinion, March is the worst time of the year to fish. I do not like March, and this always happens to me in March. I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. No, I hate March fishing. Hitting the bank in March, I always seem to struggle. Next year we'll just go February and April. Yeah, do March out of it. That water, when we turned up, there was snow on the ground, and it was thawing out, and that lake was completely booked out. That's how busy it was, and yeah, spom, bait. And the actual fish I come out was a little tiny that I did catch, the only carp that I caught, come out of a little tiny corner that I just literally put a handful of bait, lowered the rig and walked it all the way back, and that's the one that went, and it went again as well. It actually went twice, but the second time I missed it. But yeah, the little and often approach, a little tiny area where there's not a lot of bait going in. That's what I've done the fish.
Nice. And we'll see you next time in March.
No, you won't.
We have a question again. This one's from Russ. What is your favourite ND product and why?
Currently, right now, I don't even think about it that hard, and it's a shrink tuber. I absolutely love the shrink tuber. It's one of the ones when you first think about it, it's like, how good could this really be? And you get a lot of people going, oh, just use a lighter, just do this, just do that. It's like, using a lighter with shrink tubing is fine if you're using like to make a Ronnie rig because you're melting metal, you're heating metal up. But when you're using monos and braids and stuff like that, if you nick that, particularly around the hook length, you get a screaming run, you come back and you're missing your hook. It's because you've damaged it with a lighter. Yeah. The shrink tuber just annihilate it takes that away. You've got no risk of the hook link being damaged, and it's so quick. You don't have to boil your kettle up. I go quite light on many occasions, and I don't always take a kettle with me. I might even just take a little flask if I'm doing the day. So I don't have to boil the kettle to reshape my shrink tubing, or if I need to make another rig, or if I take the rod out of the bag and it's slightly out of shape, I just get the shrink tuber out, give it a quick heat, back blow, job done. Best product, underrated product. You need to get yourself a shrink tuber. 100%. I'm not just saying that. Even doubters have now changed, including the cameraman sitting behind that camera right there.
True. Well, let's jump on to the next spotlight. So, Waystone Pool. Did I say that right?
Waystone Pool, yeah, that's
Waystone
right.
Pool.
That's
Mark
Pictures.
Yep.
So, yeah, what a beautiful lake Waystone Pool is.
Should we watch the trailer?
Yeah, go on. So my first opinion of the place as I've rocked in through those gates this morning was, wow, what a lovely, mature little lake. It is very, very well kept, and you can tell that this lake is owned by an angler. But as that fog's lifted, I've looked over my shoulder and there's some very, very big hills behind me, and it's very picturesque. And this is something that I'm not used to because I come from Kent and it's quite bland and a few small hills, but that's about it. So I feel privileged to be here. That we're at Waystone Pool, but what I didn't mention, this is Mr. Mark Pictures' lake.
Beautiful lake.
Beautiful lake.
Beautiful scenery.
Beautiful scenery. Can be tricky, but you're the one making it tricky. We had fish coming out, and we had some nice fish coming out, but you can push them fish around the lake. And that was the one thing Mark said not to do. Don't chase the fish. And I said at the start in that episode that I wasn't going to do that, and guess what I did?
Chase the fish.
I chased the fish. To the point, I ended up chasing the fish away, put my rigs down, went back to create a little bit of commotion at one end of the lake to push the fish that I chased away back onto the spot without disturbing them, and that's what changed everything and managed to get the bites again. Bait boat lake. It's all about the bait boat. If I didn't have that ND bait boat too, I wouldn't have probably had half the fish that I had in that episode because they're like a bait boat, nice and quiet. Don't like a spom. They do not like the spom. Put the spom in, they're up the other end of the lake.
You got a few though, right?
I've got a few.
Yeah,
I've got a few.
Didn't get some of the big ones though, did you?
The biggest one was in its 20s, but I had some of the smaller stocky ones that Mark restocked into the lake. So yeah, we didn't get some of the older ones that we wanted, but we got amongst them for sure. And yeah. Beautiful lake.
Got a question. This one's from Kyle.
Oof.
Mr. Birthday Boy. If you could redo any episode knowing what you know now, what would it be?
This is a difficult one for more than one reason, because we've been to a couple of lakes throughout the year that weren't featured in Spotlight, but we were trying to do a Spotlight on them. And we either didn't get it at the right time, we got bullied around because we fit in like everyone else, and there's one particularly I can think of Barden Hall. The anglers were against us. They didn't want us fishing in certain areas, so they was trying to stop us to move around. But if I went back to one of those lakes now, I know so much more from the trips beforehand. But if I was to go back and redo any episode, and it's actually an episode that we done actually really well on, and it's the John Wilson Lake. And the only reason for that is because I see what was in that lake. And I think we scratched the surface. And then once I worked out how to catch those fish and what we was doing wrong and what everyone was struggling, or why everyone else was struggling catching fish in that. Some people get it right, some people don't, but there was a lot of people that weren't getting it right. And once I realised what the problem was, I'm not going to tell you exactly what it was because I want you to watch that episode back. But yeah, there was some special fish in there. We caught some special fish, but there was a lot more in there. So yeah, I'd like to go back to that one, redo it with what I know now, and I think we could tear that one a new one.
And Mark, you all heard it, he said he's going to invite me to that one, so...
Oh, yeah, you want that one? Yeah. Jamie loves that one.
Next spotlight. This one's a special one for me.
Bernier.
Bernier.
The Bernier trip.
Shall we watch the trailer?
Yes.
Row, row, row your boat gently down Bernier. If I don't catch a big fish, I'll sell my fishing gear.
For me, this lake, it's very magic lake for me.
We had a look at the photos of the fish and they were absolutely stunning, and it was a no-brainer. It was one that actually jumped out at us straight away. Jamie, got one.
My name is Jamie Wilson and I am the videographer for New Direction Tackle.
Well done.
And the ultimate goal for me is creating that memory that will last a lifetime. And if I can do that, I've done it justice.
My spot is absolutely fizzing out there like a jacuzzi. Yeah, the plan is today I'm going to work that swim.
Now for me, creating this film, this was the perfect scenario. Potentially the biggest carp of the trip on the final morning. It was the ultimate end.
So yeah, Bernier.
Bernier, what a trip. Just watching that teaser, made me goose pimple. I could feel it on my jumper all day. And I've watched that episode probably about 5 or 6 times. I know there's other people have as well. 10 for you. Is it really? Don't blame it. It's a good episode.
It's me,
and it was your moment.
It was my moment.
And that was the episode, in that episode, where your waiting game paid off.
Yeah, that's where my laziness came in. To be fair, I was planning on... Did I say something wrong?
No, I just think it was funny.
So I was planning on moving, and then I lost the 2 fish, one in the night, one earlier in the morning, and then I decided to stick out because if they're there, they're there.
And I know people were trying to get you to move as well, and saying if I was you, but you stuck to your guns, and it worked for you. You didn't have the quantity of fish, but you had the fish that actually had the weight of fish, definitely. Rambo. Was it Rambo?
It was Rambo, yeah.
It was Rambo, yeah.
Previously weighed at 65. I'm not going to give away what it weighed.
Oh yes, because we want people to watch it, But this is one that you watch it and you just want to watch it again, and it's going to make you want to book up a holiday with Angling Lines. After watching this and how simple it was to book up with Angling Lines, who sorted this out for us, it's going to make you want to go. Make sure you've got your credit cards ready, because I'm warning you now, once you've watched it, you're going to want to book a fishing trip with Angling Lines.
Let's talk about Angling Lines a little bit more. Okay. So how easy it was to book, and how easy it is to just go through the lakes.
It was easy. So basically, we chose Bernier, where we scoured through the website, and when we come to Burn, the fish, where it was located, it was literally off the beaten track, wasn't it, in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, it was all about the fish for us, and it ticked all the boxes with Jamie as well. And I think Jamie actually picked this one, or was very pushy to go there. I think no, he did pick this one actually, because it fitted what he visualised, how he wanted it to go in that episode, and yeah, couldn't be any simpler. Angler Line sorted the ferry out. They talked to obviously the bailiff, the head bailiff David met us on the day, and his daughter did. With the bait that we pre-booked with them, and they just left us alone and come back when we needed them to give us more bait, because we ran out of bait at one point because we was hammering it off, wasn't we?
There was a lot of bait being used.
You
were very mobile as well.
I was very, very mobile, and this is one where I think I show how I truly am as an angler, how mobile I am, moving around, going and looking for those fish. I used a couple of tactics in there. I used the pre-baiting side of it and the hunter-gatherer, sort of like going out and finding the fish. And that's what worked for me. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much, but you'll see that in the video when you watch it.
Shall we watch a little bit more?
Yeah, let's watch a bit more.
We headed into the final night, so desperately wanting that last big fish. A big last effort from everyone see Mark and the chef move into swim 4, as this is where they see the majority of the fish holding. The night was perfectly set.
If anyone's still awake, this is no joke. I think I may have a potential 60 in my sling. Honestly, I think it's a potential 60. I'm not even kidding. Holy I think it's a potential 60. The sling's I'm weighing the sling, it's going to around 62. Guys, I'm not joking. Why is no one awake? I think I have a potential 60. I'm trying to remember what Mark said my sling weighed. It was £2 something. But if I do, it may be 60 on the nose.
Now for me creating this film, this was the perfect scenario. Potentially the biggest carp of the trip on the final morning. It was the ultimate end. And then to later find out it was actually the biggest known fish to be caught at 65 pound pre-spawning. And who else better than the guy that before this trip had only caught a 20. He skipped the 30, he skipped the 40, and then he bags himself a 50. And now a potential 60. You couldn't write it any better.
That's bigger than the last one.
100%. It is 61, yeah, I'd say 61.3. 61.3.
61.3.
You're lying.
Honestly, mate, honestly. 61.
The boys had a 50, he's now had a 60.
No way. We will stop there because we are not ruining that. You'll have to watch it to find out. Okay, we have another question.
Yep.
This one's from Kyle again. Kyle asks a lot. What drives you to make these spotlights?
It's got to be my passion for fishing. Working with a group of, grown men that it's nice to go out with and work with. Money's all right as well. No, I'm only joking. No, it's all right. So, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Being able to do something that you're passionate about for a hobby and actually turn that into work as well. It's a dream job, isn't it? Surely.
Okay, so we'll start with the next spotlight.
Yes, that must be Chikbra.
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 Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Yeah. This is it is Chikbra. Yeah, Chikbra.
Chikbra. Okay, and before we say anything else, we'll just press play and we'll go from there.
Okay. So yeah, last night I had a phone call about 5 o'clock. Have you fished Chikbra before? The answer was no. 24 hours later, here I am. It shallows off to 2 foot on that side, and as we move out between the 2 islands, there's various holes going down to about 7 foot.
Literally just spat the hook. Must have been 15, 20 yards out in front of us.
I'm feeling quite confident now. You just feel it, you know, you feel something's going to happen. It was just that much difference. We're talking like 6 foot difference between a shelf and a hole.
But we won't let it beat us. We'll reset, stick to the changes and go again. Yeah, mate, we've got this.
So it's carnage at the moment. Yes. Very dark, it's very pretty, this fish, very pretty. So this is what we came here for. Malarkey over the top of the carp, so I think they're still there. It actually resulted in a triple take, and the third fish is a little bit bigger than this one. Is this the big one we're after? I don't know. Is it the bigger one, is it? Yes.
So the reason why I wanted to stop there is because there was a new face in that video.
There was Mr.
debut.
Kyle Spavins himself.
Debut of Mr. Carp.
It was. And yeah, this particular episode wasn't going to be at that venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was struggling a little bit to get onto a lake, and I know Jamie was speaking to Kyle, and it was a lake that Kyle recommended. So he said, "Have you been there?" And I hadn't. I've heard of the place, but I've never been. I thought it was a syndicate, so I never really sort of like chased it up. So we ended up going there. I rung up the lady that owns the place, I think, and then I ended up speaking to the bailiffs there, Chloe and was it Shaw? Yeah, I can't 100%. Yeah, I think it's Chloe and Shaw. Anyway, so got on really well there. Turned up and I had the lake to myself. There was no one on there, and I'm like, oh my God, I got onto a swim that literally commanded a lot of the water. And I thought, people are going to be turning up. If people are going to be turning up, they're going to be pushing fish around. And if anything, there's going to be me in the centre there where I've got a lot of water where I can just relieve the line pressure. And hopefully, fingers crossed, I can have a few fish out and have the edge over other people. So, yeah, what happened next was Jamie was speaking to Carl, asking how we're getting on, what swim, because he's fished it before. And yeah, he said, well, come along. Come along, it's a day ticket, there's loads of space, come along. So yeah, he turned up literally a few hours later. I think it was the next morning, actually. I can't exactly remember, but he turned up anyway. And it ended up a debut. It was a really, really good trip. It was a very, very enjoyable trip. And the last fish that we had there ended up being a named fish called Crazy Tail. So it's always better when, you know, you come away and then you get the bailiff ring home and say, actually, that last fish you had is a named fish. So yeah, it was a really, really good one. Kyle's debut, and yeah, Kyle's a likeable guy, do you know what I mean? He gets involved, he's a team player, and yeah, you can just sit down with Kyle and you can have a decent conversation. And I personally feel that he made that episode with me the episode it is. Well done, Kyle. He's sitting behind the camera over there. Like, he's got all embarrassed. He's got red as well. Yeah, that's a birthday present from me.
I didn't like it. I'm joking. It was really good. It was really, really good. And there's going to be a future project there, maybe?
There is going to be a future project there. So off the back of that, I ended up speaking to, like I say, Chloe and Sean, and Sam, I think, is the owner or runs it. And there's a hidden gem there that we're going back to. It's got good winter form. So it's not, I know it's a very, very weedy lake. That's all I know. In the winter, the weed's not going to be there. But yeah, it's apparently a hidden gem. So we're going back there.
Nice.
So watch this space. Watch the space.
Simon might be going as well.
No, I'm going on my own. I want the lake to myself. It's not often you get an opportunity.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Don't worry about me.
Shut you right.
Don't worry about me. I'll
There'll be others.
sit in the corner, kicking my feet.
That's what we just use it for the reserve. You know,
Just use me for
make
that.
numbers up.
Jamie
Catch
just uses
60
me.
pounder.
Jamie uses me for other things, but we won't go into that. So these were the only ones that made it to film.
Yes.
Because some films don't make the edit.
No, and there's a couple. I think I briefly sort of like said about Baden Hall.
Baden Hall.
Yeah, Baden Hall. We went there twice, and literally I was standing on the back of a van and a table watching these fish in this weed. It was a really, really hot day. The first time we went, it was really, really hot, and they were just mooching around. They weren't feeding. And it didn't work out. But we learned a lot on that. The second time, in actual fact, I moved, and I lost a fish, literally right at the very end, talking to the bailiff. The bailiff was with me, come round, and the rod ripped off, and I struck into it, and it felt a decent fish, but it was really weedy in the middle, and it pulled the hook. So I was absolutely devastated, gutted that I lost that fish, because it was there for like 3 days. So we decided, because of that, we see what was in the fish, and when I kid you not, there was carp. You could have put a saddle on its back. There was like that wide across the top, and it's got quite a few 40s in there. I think at one point it had a 50 at most. We had 51 or 2 50s in there while we was fishing it. So we decided we went back. We was going to go back. The second time we went back, I managed to get in the swim that I wanted, but there was a guy on the right hand side, and the boundaries sort of like really got close together, and he had the fish rocking in one area, and he had some cracking fish out. But unfortunately, they was just, when I say this, they were a couple of meters too far to the right. That's the margins, and they wouldn't go too far away from there. So he done a good job on catching them fish. Unfortunately, it wasn't good for me. He went to move. Well, he actually finished his session, and I rang up to try and move, but then there's a couple of guys on the other end. They were playing games, like reserving swims, calling them, saying they wanted these swims, and then basically, cut a long story short, I couldn't get on the swim because they was going to move, and they didn't end up moving, and they was playing games. But it's games you normally see on a syndicate, not on a day ticket. So that was an interesting one for me. So for that reason, I won't be going back.
Any other lakes that you can think of?
Yeah. Burners, 3 times. Been to Burners 3 times. I will say it's been in the winter. Mm-hmm. First time we turned up, the lake froze over with 3 inches of ice. Yeah, we couldn't fish it in the end. Second time we turned up, in actual fact we didn't turn up, I don't think. I think actually someone went there 2 days beforehand and was fishing, and we got the phone call saying that don't bother coming because it's froze over again. So we didn't do that one. And then we went a few weeks ago, went to do one. It was more of a social with the team because we've recently been building the team up with ND, and it was to get some of the team members into our world, and hopefully we could do a team sort of like spotlight. But it ended up that no fish come out over the whole weekend on that lake, and that was the 3rd trip. And the biggest problem there, it was really mould, and all of a sudden there was a temperature drop, and then when that temperature dropped, it got really cold to -6, and it was an air frost, and then the wind picked up, which then basically put a chop on the water, and we've got cold air with a chop on the water. What that does is that agitates the whole bowl, and it just turns it around, and all that cold water then went through the lake into the columns and mixed it all up. So we had a icy cold lake, and the fish reacted to that by going, thank you very much, I'm not going to feed, I'm just going to sulk.
Yeah, I came and said hello to give you some motivation, which didn't work.
Oh, the guys were starstruck when they see you turn up. They're like, oh, Mr. 60 pounder.
I ran out of ink in the pen. I was signing so many autographs, I'm not going to lie. No one's actually asked for my autograph yet. Anyway.
Next.
So, another lake that didn't do well.
Yeah, Varo.
And it was we were there for a long time.
We was there for a week. And this was another one, all sorted out by Angling Lines. The lake itself was an absolute picturesque lake. We just got the timing wrong. If we was there a week beforehand, we'd have done right. If we was there a week, 2 weeks after we come back, we would have been all right again. But the problem it just ended up this way. We went out there off the back of that hurricane, or not hurricane, storm Kieran, and it was cold out there as well. There was a lot of rain, and that particular lake has got a river that runs across the back, and where it's it's an old gravel pit. Basically, as the river lifts up, the water lifts up through the gravel layers, and all that water, cold from the river, goes straight into that lake, and yeah, shut it down. But I thought it was going to be really good because I had a bite in the first night. I'm like, yes, here we go. This is going to be a great session, and then it didn't happen. Kyle had one. I think he lost one as well up the other end. But yeah, we made the most of the time there, and made some good contacts. And you done your very, very first netting.
I'd done my very first netting. That was fun. Apart from being stung by poison chat.
Yeah, the old catty fish, whatever they're called.
I think it was throbbing for the whole day. You had one go up your nail.
I know, when I'm a nail, I've still got the mark on my nail now actually, but it made me laugh because you'll go, I've just been done, do I need to go to hospital? because Russ was winding you up.
Russ was saying I need to go to hospital, and I was like, do I need to go to hospital?
It was absolutely hilarious.
They all had gloves on, we didn't have gloves, so I thought maybe...
Yeah, and I did say to Russ, let's play this a little bit longer, and then, yeah, we played a little bit longer, then, no, you'll be fine.
It was throbbing a lot.
It did throb, but it went after about 20 minutes.
But that was very fun.
It was fun.
I held some big fish. I didn't catch any big fish, but I held some big fish. And a zander for the first time as well. Never held a zander.
Yeah, some big zander in there as well. But yeah, no, something to add to the locker. Every angler should go and net a lake sometime if you get the opportunity, because it's great. Particularly when you get a 4-course meal at the end of it as well. It was nice, yeah.
But yeah, so it didn't work, which was a shame.
No, so there is unfinished business there. It's just finding time, because we schedule things out throughout the year, what we want to do, and we've got other things that we've already planned, and this is now something we didn't factor into 2014. So now we've got to try and factor something into 2014 with that venue.
2000 what?
2004 to 24. God, yeah. It's been a long year. 2024, yeah. So we've got to factor that into 2024.
It's been a long time, 10 years by the sound of it.
Might be a diary piece.
Maybe March.
No, we're not going March. 100%.
Talking of diaries.
Yes. So the diaries, it was something that sort of like evolved from the main spot. I've got to take this hat off because it's getting hot. Evolved off of the main spotlights. And it was something that I always wanted to do, to get team members interacting with what we do. So the idea was we do this main spotlight, which is the cinematic side, and then the spotlight diaries would be our own pieces that we film and document with our own cameras, GoPros and stuff like that. But then what that would do, then as our team grew, which is what we wanted it to do, we could have our team members and consultants actually go out, film their own stuff, and then potentially create a spotlight diary that went onto the social media. And it just gets more engagement, more people involved. And yeah, I've done a few. You've done one.
I done one. Wasn't a great one. Wasn't a great one.
It was challenging, wasn't it? And that's the problem with when you're fishing day tickets. You know, you've got so much angling pressure, and if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. But that's why our videos are, which I feel are good, because it basically there's nothing false about them. Yeah. It is what it is, and we've got no special treatment, and that's what we wanted from the start. But yeah, you've done one. I did one at Tackling Mines, so that one went quite well. And then I think the best diary this year has got to be Kyle and Joff's one.
Yeah, then mine close second. We've got a trailer of Kyle and Joff's one, or a clip of it. Let's watch it.
Right, that's it. That's the 40. It's in. It's in. That's it. That's it. That's the one. That's it. It is. Holy. That's it, bro. That's the one. Look at that. It's done. Holy. It's done. We fucked you. Please. Oh. Just call Jamie. Please. Just call Jamie. Bruv. The whole lot was on record.
So yeah. Best diary of the year, in my opinion.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's I know how much it meant to them, and what they was doing to achieve that day ticket 40, and I think this is a classic one of choosing the right location. and they'd done the homework. They knew how to fish it, and the persistence paid, and the boys done what they needed to do, and wangled that one off the top with some other fish as well. But look at it.
She's a beauty.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact weight. It was well into its 40s.
What's the exact weight, Carl?
43.5. So yeah, and this is why we did the diaries, because this is what we wanted. We wanted the live, raw footage as well to go with the cinematic, and that's the difference between the diaries and the spotlight.
Does require a lot of bleeping out editing by Jamie.
It does, because you forget yourself, and
So you mentioned one of your other diaries was with Tackling Minds.
Yes, and that was at Tar Farm. This was something that was organised. The guys contacted me pretty much, it was almost a year in advance, and asked if I would be one of their special guests. So originally it was meant to be me, Ian Russell, and Hassan. And then unfortunately Ian couldn't make it, so Joe Turnbull replaced Ian. And yeah, it was us three, and it was for a great cause. You know, it's Tackling Minds, and you know, it's one of those things that's now been recognised as a mental health tool through the NHS for people to go and focus on something, to take their minds off of the day-to-day stuff, and and David from Tackling Minds, just the stuff that he's done, you can see that. His story that he's gone through and how it's changed his whole aspect of life in general, and it's done a lot for other people as well. So yeah, it's a great cause, Tackling Minds, and something that's quite close to my heart. And men particularly need to talk more about their problems, and I think that's generally the main problem, is people not communicating and talking to people, and they well it up, which can cause certain things, whether that's alcohol or whether it evolves into something completely different. But guys, you need to talk. Tackling Minds, great cause. Give them a follow. They do some great work.
We have a question.
Yep.
Which I believe every ND fan is going to want to know. You may guess what I'm about to ask.
I've got no idea what you're going to say.
When can we expect to see the new BEA bite alarms?
Oh, right. So the BEAs. I'm getting told now probably spring next year, and there's been a couple of delays on that, and the delays are for a real good reason. Is we don't want you guys having something that's not it's an inferior product. So we've done lots of testing, all the little niggle things that we've noted after the first testing product, the second, and what we thought was the final. We found there was a little tiny glitch with something, so we pulled it back again. But what I can say is now we're back into testing side, and when you do get these bite alarms, they are going to be something special. All that testing has been done, and I think that's something we're doing a lot more of, making sure things are tested properly before they go out. And yeah, the BEAs are going to be very, very popular.
Can't wait to get one.
Everyone wants the BEAs. Everyone, when I see my setup, they're like, what are those? What are those alarms? And a little bit frustrating for people.
Yep, me and Jamie.
Yeah. But yeah, they'll be out soon, and you guys will not be disappointed.
100%. I think that's it. Spotlight-wise and diary-wise, we're going to finish it off with a quick-fire question.
Okay, cool.
So as quick as you can. I don't want to hear no or
yep.
Are you ready?
Go for it.
Real or fake trees?
Real.
Snow or no snow?
Snow.
Xmas Eve or Xmas morning?
Xmas morning.
Giving or receiving?
Giving. You've added that in there. That's a question
That wasn't
from
even
you.
me.
That's one of your questions.
That was Jamie, I promise. Yeah, we're on that present.
Oh, well, yeah, so I knew that all along.
Slack or tight lines?
Slack.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Silt or gravel?
Silty gravel.
Silt or gravel?
I've got to go.
Silt or gravel?
It's not either. It's off the back of the gravel.
So this is called a quick fire
All right,
question.
silt.
Brolly or bivvy?
Brolly.
Pop up or bottom baits?
Bottom baits.
French 70 or UK 40?
UK 40.
Common or mirror?
Mirror.
Mobile or stag?
Mobile.
Colour Joff.
I can't answer that. Kyle? No, I like them both. They're
I love
both
you,
exactly
Joff.
the
Don't worry,
same.
mate.
Good
I love
duo.
you still.
It's like Laurel and Hardy, isn't it, those two?
I didn't think you were going to answer it.
Well, how can you separate Laurel and Hardy? They're both the same, aren't they?
I don't know. They are.
You don't know who Laurel and Hardy are? Oh my God. Well, let's...
And that.
Well, they're different, aren't they? Laurel and Hardy fits the profile a little better.
Again, I don't know who they are.
Have a look, Google it later, and then you'll realise what I said.
I probably recognise them, but I just don't know them.
Oh, you definitely
No,
were.
no.
It's black and white. Laurel and Hardy, little
Black
bow
and
top.
white?
A little bow top, little...
That's before my time, Mark. I live in the age of colour screens.
I'm getting on now.
Okay, that is it.
Well, what I will do though, I do want to finish this off because we have got some great things planned for next year. We've got some projects that we've been discussing, and one thing that I want to do more with the next season is I want to sort of like do more than just the what they call the day ticket venues. I want to do more syndicate stuff, and I want to do more stuff which is on the rivers, which falls into one of the projects that I'm not going to go into. But me and Jamie have been discussing it for a little while now, what we're going to do, and I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. There's going to be two parts of that though. One is going to be how it's building up to what we're going to be filming. So really hard to explain.
Known rivers?
Definitely known rivers. It's going to be the Medway and the Thames. And anyone that knows me well, know that I do quite a bit on rivers, and I don't publicise it. I do disappear off. It's a place where I can go off and not see anybody. I can do my own thing, no angling pressure. I've had some nice fish out of the rivers, but I haven't necessarily documented them. But I will be documenting them because I've got some good spots.
Nice.
And that's it.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So, yeah, that's it. Can't think of anything else to say.
Oh, makes a fest. Well, thank you very much for being here, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And
thank you, Kyle's mum, for letting us use your lovely studio.
thank you, Kyle's mum.
Which might be a podcast. That would work well, wouldn't it? Podcast, yeah. That would work well, wouldn't
There's
it?
too much alcohol.
Yeah, but we'll get the guests in because I want the alcohol.
That's true.
Wouldn't it be funny now if this evolved into a podcast, isn't it? Oh. No.
I couldn't help
Joey's cringing me over there.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. On that note, thank you for watching, and we at ND wish you a very, very Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year.